questions. We'll begin with Gary. We're going to switch it up. We've already hit on this topic a little bit, but where do you see your role in economic development as county commissioner?
This is a big difference between Joel and me. I think Utah County and the state and government in general has a few core jobs, and one of them is to make sure your people are working. Make sure we've got good jobs in this county, make sure that they're high-paying jobs, and although our unemployment rate in Utah County, thankfully folks, is relatively low, lower than other places, we're still around 6%, and we need jobs. And so other states, New Mexico for example, they've got a big slush fund that their legislature and governor just puts in their hands, their economic development people, that they can give to corporations to come in. Now, they give them money, they buy land, they do all kinds of stuff. One of the companies we were recording from Pennsylvania, the government had bought their land for them, they waived the taxes for 10 years. You know, that's hard to compete with. And if the government's not involved in some way, we're dead. Now, what we do is we help provide infrastructure. And we do that on, I'm not going to get into it because it's a little complicated, it's called tax increment financing. But it doesn't cost our taxpayers much of anything at that point because we're not getting any taxes. But anyway, we use those and we're able to bring people in. Microsoft is a great example. Microsoft is one of the 7 companies we brought in the last 2 years. We said to Microsoft, if you'll come in and you'll make sure we have so many jobs that pay over $70,000, then on the back end of that, if those will continue for 5 years, we'll give you a break. We'll give you a break. And so they have to earn their break, and then they get it on the back end. It's tough to compete with these states that have those kinds of slush funds. We brought in 7 new companies the last year. We weren't doing that 4 years ago, folks. We were out of the economic development business, and nothing happened. We brought in 1,027 new jobs. We've got 54 companies looking at Utah County, 21 of which are labeled as hot companies, and we've got 3 that are coming, probably 4. Yesterday we may have 4. And that's 2,000 to 3,000 jobs in the next year or 2. And that doesn't even count the 4,000 jobs in Lehigh, the National Security Agency. So we're back on the map. Nothing like that was going on 4 years ago. Because we got in and got involved with the cities and with the state and the governor's office. We now are in the economic development business. If we didn't do anything, they wouldn't be here.
This is one of the most critical differences between myself and Commissioner Anderson. And so I think it's important. If you pay attention the whole time, pay attention right now. I believe it's government's job to remove the obstacles to economic development, to keep taxes low, they've been going up, to do a good job fighting crime, and to build the right infrastructure. You do those things, the businesses come. If you do tax breaks, if you try and sell them, it doesn't work. It might work short term if you give them a big tax break, it won't work in the long term. It's the transportation, it's the crime, it's a well-educated workforce. That's what will attract the companies. He and I disagree on that fundamentally. Let me go into a few details. You know, I don't think Commissioner Anderson wants to be responsible for the economy. The unemployment rate was 2.4% when Commissioner Anderson came into office in 2007. It is now 6.8%. It is the highest unemployment that we have had in the last 20 years in Utah County, and we have not turned the corner. It is not going down. I appreciate, 1,000 more jobs. Well, there are 10,000 fewer jobs in Utah County right now than there were 3 years ago. Government is not responsible for the economy, and if it is, it's really quite dismal to see these kind of results. Furthermore, with all that said, I don't know if there's a lick of difference between myself and Gary on this issue. I would support Economic Development Corporation of Utah. It costs a few $100,000 a year. I think companies that already appreciate us, the Economic Development Corporation of Utah, can push them over the edge. And so I'm happy to be on it. I'm happy to support it. On Gary's flyer he put out, he had 7 prominent companies saying, I brought these companies to Utah County. If you talk to those companies, none of them will identify Commissioner Anderson or anything he did as the reason that they're here now. And furthermore, 4 years ago, he says it completely changed. Utah County was already working with the Economic Development Corporation of Utah 4 years ago. Not much changed. He sits on the board. He is doing a good job there. I would do the same thing. It's really not that much different, but that's not what I'm going to take credit for. You are responsible for the jobs. You are responsible to grow the economy. My responsibility is to get out of your way. If there are obstacles, I need to remove them. My job is to fight crime and build transportation infrastructure. You will go out and create the jobs, you'll create the innovation, not me.